What if you went to the airport, but you never left? Not for a day, not for a week, but for 18 years. This is the unbelievably true story of a man trapped in one of the busiest airports in the world. A man they called Sir Alfred. And it's not like the movie you think you know. Airports are designed for movement. They're places where people are always leaving or going, and nobody stays forever. But what if you did? What if you not spent only hours, not days, but years inside an airport? This is the incredible yet heartbreaking true story of Mohamed Karim Nasri, the man who lived in Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport for 18 years, and whose life inspired even a Hollywood movie. Welcome back to Daniel Tells Stories, where we dig deep into the darkness corners of true crime, mysteries, and real-life tragedies from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because some stories deserve to be remembered, and others, they demand to be told. Mohamed Karim Nasri was born in 1945 and Suleiman Mosque in Iran. In 1974, he left his homeland to study in the United Kingdom. But his life took a dramatic turn when he was expelled, claiming that he did not have his official documents. What followed was a long and frustrating battle with bureaucracy. Nasri fought refugee status, and eventually the United Nations did give it to him, but in Belgium. And with that came his travel papers, and after a somewhat long journey, those papers also disappeared. In 1988, Nasri attempted to travel from Belgium to London, connecting through Paris. But without his valid documents, the French authorities wouldn't allow him to board his flight. They couldn't deport him back to Iran either, and Belgium refused to take him back. He had nowhere to go. And so began his life inside the international transit zone of Charles de Gaulle Airport, a space that was not officially France and not officially anywhere. At first, as it would be for all of us, it must have been terrifying. But over time, Terminal 1 became his home. Nasri slept on the hard red plastic benches, washed in the public bathrooms, and ate at the airport cafes and fast food counters. He became a familiar sight to the staff, always clean-shaven, neatly dressed, and very polite. They called him Sir Alfred. Passengers saw him reading the newspaper and writing in his notebooks, quietly watching the rush of people come and go every day. Nasri relied on the kindness of others for food and other necessities. Airline staff often gave him meal vouchers, and airport employees and passengers would offer him food, leftovers, or even cash. But he was trapped. But also in some strange way, he became part of the airport's identity. As the years passed, Nasri's unusual situation drew media attention. Journalists from around the world came to interview this man living in the airport. His story also captured the imagination of many, including director Steven Spielberg. In 2004, Spielberg's film The Terminal, starring Tom Hanks, hit theaters. While this fictionalized story was the premise, a man stuck in the airport with nowhere else to go, it was directly inspired by Nasri's life. Throughout the years, there were chances for him to leave. Authorities offered him papers that would have allowed him to walk out inside Paris, but Nasri refused. Some say it was because the documents didn't list him as British, which he believed was his rightful nationality. Others believe that after so long, the outside world was too strange and too uncertain. The airport was all that he knew. In 2006, after nearly 2 decades inside Charles de Gaulle Airport, Nasri's health declined. He was hospitalized and left the terminal for the first time since 1988. He lived in a parish shelter and later a nursing home. But in 2022, after leaving the nursing home, he returned to the place he had really called home. This time it was called Terminal 2F. And it was there in November 2022 that Meren Karim Nasri died of a heart attack. The airport staff described him as an iconic character. Despite his hardships, he was well liked, treated with kindness, and remembered for his quiet dignity. His life remains one of the most extraordinary cases of statelessness the world has ever seen. For most of us, an airport is just a stop, a few hours before our next destination. For Sir Alfred, it was both a prison and a sanctuary that defined his life. His story forces us to think about what it really means to belong somewhere, and what happens when the world says you don't belong anywhere at all. This has been Daniel Tells Stories. If you enjoy this story, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And tell me in your comments, do you think that you could survive in an airport for 18 years? Until next time, let's keep our stories alive.